Good day, my students in RIZAL. Today, we will tackle about the life of our national hero, Jose Rizal. We will be using the book of Orosa, Bartolome, and Zaide, which is entitled Jose Rizal the Genius. In this book, our young students whom Rizal called the fair hope of my fatherland will know the life of our greatest genius, his many God-given talents, his amazing achievements, and his death of our country's glory and freedom. Jose Rizal was the greatest genius ever produced by our race. God had given him many talents. He developed such talents by patient study and hard work. He became a physician, poet, novelist, essayist, dramatist, historian, painter, sculptor, architect, musician, linguist, bibliophile, translator, educator, surveyor, engineer, farmer, economist, naturalist, inventor, magician, and prophet. Unlike many geniuses in the world history, he used his God-given talents not for his personal benefit, but for the glory of God, country, and humanity. Jose Rizal was born in Calamba, Laguna, near midnight of June 19, 1861. It was a few nights before full moon. He was the 7th of the 11 children of Francisco Mercado Rizal and Teodora Alonso Realonda. 3 days after his birth, Rizal was baptized at the Catholic Church of Calamba by Father Rufino Colliantes, the parish priest. His ninong, or the godfather, was Father Pedro Casañas, a Catholic priest and friend of the family. In accordance with the old Filipino custom, Doña Teodora named her newborn baby Jose in honor of San Jose, Saint Joseph, the father of Christ. She almost died while giving birth to Jose because of his big head. Jose's head was really bigger than that of a normal baby. The unusual big head of Rizal was considered to be a good omen. It showed great promise of the boy for wisdom. Father Colliantes, who baptized Rizal, was highly impressed by it. After the christening ceremony, he gave his prophetic remarks. "Take good care of the child. He will be a great man someday and highly cultured. But be careful about his head. See to it that it is not hurt. In the future, that head of his will be his greatest asset." Many years later, Rizal, who was born with a big head, became the greatest Filipino genius. The prophecy of a priest became true. Until now, our nation has not yet produced a genius that can equal him. Rizal's parents were not genius like him, but they were diligent and educated, for they had studied in the colleges of Manila during their younger years. Francisco Mercado Rizal, father of Rizal, was a prosperous farmer of Calamba. He was born in Binyan, Laguna on May 11, 1818. He died in Manila on January 5, 1898, at the age of 80. In early manhood, he moved to Calamba and engaged in farming. On June 28, 1848, he married Teodora Alonso Realonda, a Manila girl who was then living in Calamba. He was quiet, brave, and independent-minded. From him, Rizal inherited his quiet nature, frugality, and love of freedom. He was, said Rizal, a model of fathers. Teodora Alonso Realonda, Rizal's mother, was an intelligent woman with great business ability. She was born in Manila on November 8, 1826. She died in Manila on August 16, 1911 at the age of 85. She was a graduate of Santa Rosa College, Manila. From her, Rizal inherited his love for books and talent for literature. Speaking of her, Rizal said with affectionate pride, "My mother is more than a woman of ordinary culture. She knows literature and speaks Spanish better than I. She is a mathematician and does read many books." The original surname of Rizal's family was Mercado. It was adopted in 1731 by Domingo Lamco, Rizal's great-great-grandfather. In 1849, Governor Claveria's decree arrived in Calamba. It ordered all Filipino families to adopt new family names from a list of Spanish surnames. Francisco Mercado, Rizal's father, looked at the list and did not like any of the Spanish surnames in it. He adopted a new family name of his own choice. It was Rizal, which means green field. He considered it an appropriate surname for his family because he was a farmer. Thus, Francisco Mercado became Francisco Mercado Rizal. Rizal had one brother older than him and 9 sisters. All the Rizal children in the order of their ages were as follows. Please take a look at the picture to meet Rizal's siblings and to know their roles in Rizal's life. The Rizal family was one of the richest and most distinguished families in Calamba. By honest and hard work, Rizal's parents acquired considerable wealth. Because of their wealth, they were able to build a large stone house, own a beautiful carruaje, and educate their children in the colleges of Manila. The Rizal house in Calamba was one of the biggest in town. It was made of stone and hardwood with a roof of red tiles. Behind the house was a romantic azotea which overlooked a large garden. There were many rooms in the Rizal home, for the family had 11 children. The best room was the sala, where prominent guests such as the Spanish friars, officers of the Guardia Civil, and the provincial judges were entertained. Another room was the family library with more than 1,000 books. The Rizal family had a simple, contented, and happy life. Rizal's parents were strict and religious. They trained their children to behave well, to love God, to be obedient, and to be polite to others. Every day, the Rizal family prayed the Angelus at sunset and the Rosary before retiring to bed at night. After the family prayers, the children kissed the hands of their parents. The Rizal children were disciplined children. Rizal spent a happy childhood in the town of Calamba by the shore of Laguna de Bay. As early as when he was 3 years old, he played every day at the family garden with his ayah and brother and sisters. They watched the birds, playing among the fruit trees, and listened to their songs. At night, when the moon was bright, he loved to go to the azotea to watch the beautiful moon and to feel the cool breezes coming from the Laguna de Bay. He listened with childish delight to the fairy tales and legends narrated by his ayah. Rizal's first sorrow was caused by the death of his younger sister Concepcion in 1865. She was then only 3 years old and Rizal was 4 years old. For the first time, Rizal wrote many years later, "I wept tears of love and grief." Rizal was a devout Catholic. He often went to church to hear Mass and pray the novenas. He participated in the religious processions. One of his boyhood friends was Leoncio Lopez, who later became a wise parish priest. When Rizal grew older, his father gave him a horse. He learned how to ride. Like any teenage boy, he loved horse riding. He also enjoyed wandering on foot in the fields and along the shore of Laguna de Bay. In all his wanderings, either on horseback or on foot, he was accompanied by his dog. On June 6, 1868, Jose, accompanied by his father, left Calamba for Antipolo. It was his first pilgrimage to the famous shrine of the Virgin of Antipolo. It was also his first voyage across Laguna de Bay. The casco on which they rode from the Calamba to Pasig was slow. However, he was thrilled by the lake voyage. Of this exciting experience, he wrote many years later, "With what joy I saw the sunrise. For the first time I saw how the luminous rays shone, producing a brilliant effect on the ruffled surface of the wide lake." After praying at the shrine of the Virgin of Antipolo, Rizal and his father went to Manila. It was Rizal's first visit to the city. He was delighted to see the big walls of Manila and the numerous churches, stone houses, stores, and colleges. He visited his eldest sister Saturnina, who was a student of La Concordia College.
The first teacher of Rizal was his mother. From her, he learned the alphabet and the prayers when he was only 3 years old. This shows that he was a very intelligent boy. My mother, he said, taught me how to read and to say haltingly the humble prayers which I raised fervently to God. Surely a man owes everything to his mother next to God. As a teacher, Doña Teodora was affectionate and patient, but strict. When she found out that her son had a talent for poetry, she encouraged him to write poems. Although Jose was a good child, she whipped him whenever he misbehaved. One night, Doña Teodora was reading the story of the moth and the flame in a book, El Amigo de los Niños, which means the friend of the children. Young Jose was not listening to his mother, for he was attracted by 2 moths flying around the flame of the coconut oil lamp. The young moth, disobeying its mother's advice, flew too near the flame and got killed. It fell dead into the hot oil of the lamp. So deeply attracted was Rizal by the death of the brave little moth that he did not notice when his mother ended the reading of the story. All his attention was on the light of the oil lamp and on the dead little moth. The light that caused the little moth's death appeared to him more beautiful than ever. He justified the tragic fate of the little moth. He believed that it is worthy for a man to sacrifice his life for a noble cause.